How to reset your nervous system and finally override your reality. So, we're going to break this down in detail and let's get into it. So, the nervous system reset framework. So, number one, the big understanding about changing your life. So, most people believe that changing their life is about changing circumstances. So, they think if I earn more money, I will feel better. If my relationship improves, I'll feel better. If my problems disappear, then my life will finally change. So they try to fix the outside world first. They try to control situations. They try to force results. They try to fix every problem in front of them. But this approach rarely works because the external world is not the starting point of change. Your life experience is heavily influenced by the state of your nervous system, and your nervous system determines how you interpret events, how you react to situations, and how you make decisions, and what opportunities you notice, what type of energy you bring into interactions. It literally dictates the external world, your nervous system. And if your nervous system is constantly in stress, fear, anxiety, urgency, and under so much pressure, you're not able to do anything. Then, even when you get opportunities, you either miss them or you somehow always sabotage them yourself. And you will always end up getting in your own way. And this is why two people can be in the exact same situation but experience completely different outcomes in life. The difference is not intelligence and the difference is not luck, it's the internal state. And your internal state is regulated through your nervous system. And when your nervous system is calm, balanced, and grounded, you begin operating from a completely different level of awareness and power. So let's get into how your nervous system is going to influence your reality and eventually how to make the changes necessary to have your nervous system aligned and then allow it to influence your external state. So, number two, how your nervous system shapes your reality. So, everything in the universe exists in motion and energy. Even your thoughts and emotions create energetic patterns that influence how you experience life. So your nervous system, it acts as the control center of the internal state. And just think of it like your operating system of your mind and body. When the nervous system is stressed, your brain looks for danger, your thoughts become negative, you expect things to go wrong, you become reactive, always reactive to everything that's happening to you. And you just can't, you lose control at every moment. And your perception becomes narrow. You see threats instead of opportunities. When your nervous system is calm, your thinking becomes clearer, your intuition becomes stronger, you make better decisions, you naturally move toward better outcomes. And that's what you want to work towards. So the external world often begins to shift because you are no longer responding to life from survival mode. And most people spend their entire lives in a chronic stress state and in a state where they're constantly just reacting to things happening to them and they can never get out of this cycle. And people's nervous system never truly relaxes. So even when they try to visualize success or set goals, internally there is always stress and resistance. They are still vibrating with anxiety, doubt, or urgency, obsession, and worried about the outcome. And this creates internal conflict, and internal conflict will always weaken your ability to move towards your desired reality. So, number three, this is the biggest mistake that people make. So, the biggest mistake people make is trying to force outcomes while their nervous system is unstable. So, for example, right now, you must have tried so many things trying to be positive, like forcing yourself to be positive each day, always trying to be motivated, always conscious about just being motivated, working extremely hard, obsessing over the goals. As a result, you are now still internally operating from fear of failure, desperation for results, and you are essentially always under constant stress and pressure. And it just only does one thing: it creates more resistance. And when a goal becomes extremely important to you, you create psychological pressure around it. And that pressure actually interferes with the process of achieving it. And when you are desperate for something, your mind constantly focuses on the possibility that you might not get it. And this creates internal tension and interference in your thought energy. And this is why many people say, I tried visualization, but it didn't work. Or I tried this routine, it didn't work. I tried this, but I was never able to be consistent with it. But the thing is, the methods were not the problem. The visualization was never the issue. The real issue was the state you were operating from, your internal state, your nervous system. All these things were the issue. It's not the method that you tried. The methods all work. Any method works when you try for a long amount of time. But a stressed nervous system cannot hold a stable internal state. So instead of changing reality, the person continues reinforcing the same pattern. So you're just stuck in the same patterns. Number four, now let's get into it. So the three-step nervous system reset process. So resetting your nervous system is one of the most powerful things you can do. You don't have to go to a psychologist. You don't have to go to a psychotherapist. You don't have to go to some life coach who's going to give you some magical scenarios or answers. You can do it right now. So, because once your internal state changes, your actions, perceptions, and decisions naturally change as well. And I'm sharing a simple process with you here. So, step one, stop fighting your reality. The first step is to stop mentally fighting your current situation. Most people constantly resist their current life because obviously you hate it so much. You hate where you are right now. You hate how you're thinking, feeling, acting, your environment, all these things you hate so much. But just finally give yourself a chance and just accept it and stop fighting it for once at least. So, common thoughts are, this shouldn't be happening. Why is this happening to me? I need to fix this immediately, or I don't want this. And these very states they generate resistance and keep the nervous system in constant stress mode. So the first step for you is just acceptance. This is a core philosophy of all teachings like Taoism, Buddhism. Acceptance is universal. Like no matter where you look, acceptance is one of the first things you have to come to terms with. So acceptance does not mean you like the situation. It simply means you stop reacting emotionally to it. You acknowledge the situation calmly and think, this is where I am right now. Now I can move forward. The moment you stop resisting reality, your nervous system begins to relax. And when your nervous system relaxes, your mind becomes clearer. And this is a new solution, and this is where new solutions and ideas and opportunities start to being attracted to you and presented to you. Step two, so reduce the emotional importance. So one of the biggest causes of stress in life is placing too much emotional importance on outcomes. When something becomes extremely important to you, your mind becomes obsessed with it. You begin thinking, what if I fail? What if this doesn't work? What if I lose everything? Like so many things start coming to your mind. And this pressure is not good because it always just creates anxiety and tension. But when you reduce emotional importance of the outcome, your nervous system begins to stabilize. You start approaching your goals with calm confidence instead of desperation. You move toward your goals the same way you would walk to the shop to buy something. You still want the goal, but you're not emotionally dependent on achieving it or on the result. This shift alone can completely change how life unfolds for you. Like, you always see, like, do hard work, do this, obsession, but just this trick, once you're able to just finally understand this and implement this, is a gigantic way to just move forward. And step three, operate from calm intention. Once your nervous system is calm, your actions become far more effective. Instead of forcing results, you move with clear intention. Intention is simply directing your mind toward a desired outcome. When intention is combined with focused action, it becomes extremely powerful. So, pure intention is basically where you have a heart and mind connection with the goal, and you already know there's a version of you in reality that has already achieved the goal, and then you just combining focused action with that, and then reality eventually closes the gap for you and brings your goal in physical form in the best timing for you. That's what it is. But pure intention works when it is calm. No desperation, no anxiousness, no worrying, not obsessed about the outcome. Calm intention feels like this: I know where I'm going, I'm taking the next step, I'm taking each day as it comes. Everything else will fold along the way, and the how has been taken care of itself. And from this state, you're naturally able to make better decisions because you're so calm, there's no pressure, you have the goals and actions clearly identified, and you naturally just take the right actions, and you're not putting any kind of pressure on the universe to give you certain things in reality, and opportunities begin appearing that were previously invisible to you. And number five, what happens when your nervous system is reset? So, when your nervous system becomes calm and balanced, something interesting happens. Life begins to feel easier. Problems that once seemed overwhelming suddenly have simple solutions. You start noticing opportunities you never saw before. You become more confident in your decisions, and situations that once triggered anxiety no longer affect you the same way. And this happens because your mind is no longer operating from fear or survival. You begin operating from clarity, and clarity changes everything. And many people believe they need to completely transform their external life to feel calm, but that is completely wrong. When your nervous system becomes calm first, your external life naturally begins reorganizing itself. And number six, so here are some practical ways to reset your nervous system daily. So, resetting your nervous system does not require complicated techniques. It's only very few things you need to do actually. So, slow breathing and relaxation, taking quiet time away from constant stimulation, walking in nature, reducing the emotional pressure you place on goals, letting go of the need to control every outcome. When practiced consistently, these habits gradually rewire your nervous system. Over time, you become a calmer and more stable person internally, and this internal stability allows you to approach life from a completely different state. And the final principle, so the most important thing to understand is this: your external world often reflects your internal state. If your nervous system is constantly stressed, anxious, and reactive, your life will feel chaotic and unpredictable. But when your nervous system becomes calm, balanced, and grounded, you begin influencing your reality in a completely different way. You stop chasing outcomes, you start moving through life with clarity and intention, and when that happens, reality often begins to move in your direction. Not because you forced it, but because you changed the state you are operating from. So, if you found it useful, I offer one-to-one coaching to help you achieve your ideal reality through my frameworks and coaching, intensive coaching. You have one-to-one support with me and a lot more. If you're interested, you can send me email or DM me on the social media platforms. And yeah, leave any comments below if you want to see any other kind of videos. And thanks for watching.